Yes, sir, man. We got a little mini podcast, Mike.
Yeah. Hey, it works though.
So introduce yourself.
All right. I'm Russo. I'm Jay's friend for about say a year and a half. We met
2 years now, almost.
2 years.
Two
2
years
years.
almost.
We met in a in a Rainbow Six lobby with his boy Ryan.
Yep.
I feel like it was one more person, but I can't remember.
I remember, dude. I met like mad people through Siege. It's today's guest on the channel.
Yep.
So what are we gonna talk about today? You picked the topic today, so.
So yeah, like I said before, I think one important topic we should touch upon is how we bring God's word to those we care about. We don't exactly have the kind of open mindedness required to have the kind of conversation of where God's word can be implemented into their lives. Because from my experience, I have too many people in my life who rely on their own understanding and their own thinking,
Yeah,
and it's kind of hard to like let them know, hey, there is a way.
there is a way,
It's not our way.
and it's God's way. That is something that I've like also found because I don't know. I feel like I felt. Have you ever felt like awkward bringing it up to people
Yes, all
that
the
you
time.
know don't? Because like you have like a certain feeling about this. Like, you follow Jesus Christ. You try to follow his teachings, do what is right, and then you have friends who are not into it like that, and you don't know how to bring it up around them. How do you go about doing that?
I definitely try to be careful.
So like, would you know when the right moment is? Like, how do
I
you
try to catch it.
try to catch it? Because I don't know. I felt like that with a lot of my friends, like in real life, that I know. Like I always try to. Sometimes I know I have my set of values. I have my do's and don'ts, and sometimes they do stuff that I wouldn't do, right? And then I try not to fall under influence. But then when they ask me why, like what do I say? Like whenever like they say, hey, why aren't you joining us on doing this? And it's something that'll
Yeah, yeah,
compromise my values.
yeah. I definitely have more than a handful of those interactions where I feel like I just have to, reject the invitation, reject the offer.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't lie, I've there's been times where like just made up some like I'm gonna be busy,
Mm-hmm.
I have stuff to do, but in reality, it's more so like I can't participate in that if I'm really trying to change as a person and follow God's word.
That's true.
And I feel like I'm still working on communicating that way, being real, being honest. Honestly, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah,
Even those who try to follow the narrow path, and that's God's path.
it's true.
It's not easy, but
It's not. Cause like, I feel like this has happened to me. I've Once I started to follow Christ and I started to change my ways, and I would tell people like what I'm trying to do, and once they see like what I'm trying to actually do and better myself, I've had times where like someone would offer me something, and then a friend of mine will answer for me. He'd be like, "Nah, he won't do that. That's not him." And then like I really appreciate that. Like those are the type of friends that I really like to have around,
yeah, yeah,
because
definitely.
they'll sometimes they won't agree, with what you do. But and I try to like once I try to mention God and Jesus to people, I try not to like like push it down their throats. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? In like how do you say it? Like those people that like get stereotype, like they stereotype like Christians and people like that for
yeah,
saying like,
yeah,
oh, if you don't do this, you're going to hell, or
yeah.
you know,
For lack of a better term, um, my wife would call them Bible thumpers.
Bible thumpers. I like that.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I have too many people who I have to be careful around, not to push it down their throats like that.
Yeah, because it's just a way of approaching,
Yeah,
because then you give them a bad impression of what Christianity is, of what God is,
there are
and
verses for these. I wish I knew them as well
I don't
as
have my Bible on me either.
we lacking, man.
But
We
but I
lacking.
know that I know that in everything we should approach it with love
Mm-hmm.
and sincerity, and just
Exactly, for
be
sure.
honest with people. and like calm. Don't go straight into the hey. If you sin, you're going to hell.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
yeah, no, there's better ways of preaching the word than just saying that. You know,
most definitely.
I feel like love is a big part of it. Is like you were saying earlier, like a lot of people try to fill up the emptiness they have inside
Hmm.
themselves with pleasure, with money, things like that, with worldly things. And at the heart, at the center of all that is still emptiness. None of that can really fulfill you. I mean, if only for so long, like God can. And
I agree.
that's like the word I've tried to preach to people, you know, that what happened with Jesus was real. He really existed. He is really the Son of God. He really died and came back to life.
And I I still have so much more studying to do because I wish I can reference everything that really brought about my line of thinking towards following Christ.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much. It's a lot. How's life been after the move?
Like when I moved, what do you mean from Connecticut to Virginia
Yeah,
or
yeah.
to the new house?
See, I don't really have a clear picture yet of how much you've moved because it seems like you've moved very
I've
frequently.
moved a lot. In my life, I've moved a lot from place to place. So
I feel like you must have met a lot of people.
yeah, I've met like a lot of people, but I mean, yeah, I have. But like in Brazil, back when I lived in Brazil, my origins is like I
How
used to
long?
how long I lived there.
Yeah.
I think about 8 years. When I moved here, I turned 9 like the month after.
Mm.
So I lived in Brazil for about 8 years. Um, I remember I lived with I forgot who I lived with at first. I can't remember stuff from when I was 3, but I remember I've lived with my grandma, I lived with my grandpa, I lived with my dad, and that's all in the span of 8 years. I've had different childhoods experiences. Um, then I moved here. We lived in one house in Connecticut. When I remember when I moved there, then we moved to another house. I think that same year, moved to another house, and then I stayed in Connecticut for a while, ever since I came to the U.S. Then moved to Virginia in 2023. Moved to another house 2024. Now we just moved to another place here in Virginia. So yeah, I've moved around a lot.
Most of your moves were here in Virginia.
Well, I had 3 moves in Brazil,
Oh, okay.
3 in Connecticut, and 3 here. 9 moves total my entire life before the age of
Okay.
20. Different schools, different people. I don't know. When I was a kid, it would suck a lot more. You
Yeah, I
know,
can only imagine.
I mean, I guess moving here, I was like, first day of school. I mean, I'm just gonna be that quiet guy. Freshman year was like it was fun, but that was prior. It was like a few months prior before I met Christ, and I just fell into the wrong crowd. I would try to do stuff to be cool,
We
and
all did.
it just never worked out. I got in trouble a lot. I got a lot of detention, suspension even, and I never saw myself as someone who would be doing that. But it was just a lot of times,
Trying
being
to
at the
fit
wrong
in.
place, the wrong time, doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing.
Would you say it was because you were trying to fit in as well?
Definitely trying to fit in, saying stuff that I wouldn't say to other people, creating a. I would like to apologize. Mic audio died. See, because these mics, you gotta charge them, right? And I have this lavalier mic and 2 other ones. The 2 other ones, you guys remember when I did that Bible study with my friend Kylie? Right. Cool. After doing that, remember the mic didn't work in that video either. I think I just didn't sync it correctly. I have to test before the video starts so I can see if the audio is coming through. And then after using those mics, I should always charge them, right? Because I was responsible. I didn't charge them. The mic, only one of the mics, because I bought both yesterday's video with Russo, and only one of them had battery, and it lasted like 8 minutes, and then it died. So I'm sorry. It was a good video too, a good combo with a lot of what's it called? We talked for like 20 minutes. It was like a 20-minute video, but you're only gonna get to see 8 minutes of it. But yeah, man, it was a good video. In summary, it was we talked about my life a little bit, my walk with Christ, his walk with Christ, his introduction. He's the second guest on the channel. I might think about doing more guests in the future. Probably will, like whoever, like more of my friends who want to be there and share their testimonies and stuff like that.
But yeah, I'm sorry. I'll do better. Okay, I promise I will do better. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to do better. I have to charge these mics. I'm going to do that. I'm so sorry. It won't happen. It could happen. I'll try to make it not happen again.